Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show host or the guest are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi everyone, it's Tori, MS Girl, you know the one. Just wanted to say happy July. Hope everybody is having a great summer. I know it's really hot for a lot of people, so try and stay cool. Thanks again to MS&Me Radio, Erica Lyons Richardson, and all of her people that work with her and work for her, and for putting on this wonderful radio show. I titled this radio show, When Things Don't Go Right, Go Left, because my month of June was really crazy. I think I talked a little bit about my last show, where we were having some home modifications, and although that's a huge blessing for us, and it is going really well, a lot of things didn't go right, so we had to go left. So normally in the past I would have had a meltdown and got depressed and flipped out and everything, but that didn't happen. So I kind of want to talk about our modifications. We did find a carpenter that came in and widened our bathroom doors, and because of that we had to get rid of one of our doors, and we absolutely got lucky and got this beautiful barn door put in. So if you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, there's pictures on there. I think more on Instagram, not on Facebook, but it's under MS Girl, you know the one. And so that's been kind of fun because we kind of get to be redecorating our house. So I feel like I'm kind of healing, getting stronger, doing some exercises, walking a little bit more with my walker at the same time as redecorating the house, which is kind of fun. And we have some plans up our sleeve to paint a couple walls. Of course, my husband will be doing that because I can't stand long enough to do any of that painting. Maybe I can sit on my walker and wheelchair and get some painting done, but that's been kind of fun. So excited about that. We got the stair lift put in. So our whole house looks disabled, but it works and I can get around and be more independent. So I have to use a little ramp to go up either with my walker or my wheelchair, because we have one step and then we have a whole bunch of steps. So I have to use a little ramp to get up onto the one step, then transfer either from the walker or the wheelchair to the stair lift, and then press the button and the stair lift kind of takes you for a little ride, which I have to say my teenagers have been thinking is kind of fun. I don't quite know what, they've been using it probably more than I have. So for them, it's kind of a little fun thing for them. They also wheel around in the wheelchair. So I guess we can make humor out of some of it. But the stuff that's been going right is that we got really lucky where we got the carpenter and we got the stair lift. And, you know, I know a lot of MS societies help people financially. Personally, they've never helped me. Every time I've ever tried to apply for anything, I've gotten denied. So I just have to give that up to the Lord and realize that there's somebody out there that probably needs it more than I do. But we certainly didn't have the money to do that. So luckily we have a really supportive family that has either lent or gifted us some of the money for that. So I feel very blessed and grateful for that. So otherwise it wouldn't be happening. So anyways, I thought, you know, the bathroom thing has been extended out for months now, so 2 months at least. So we're kind of getting sick of that. They have to finish like one more thing and then they're done. But the stair lift, they ordered it. Once they ordered it, they got it installed in 4 hours. It was quick. It was easy. It just worked perfect. And grateful for that. So here I think, oh yeah, here's a stair lift. And we're going to get up the stairs, get back to my normal routine, hop in the shower, get to the restroom, grab out my clothes, get into bed, thinking everything was going to go normal or right, like we say. Well, no, that is not what happened, not even close to what happened. So we practiced the stair lift. I got into my wheelchair, wheeled in there, and it's beautiful. I mean, I love it, and I do love our contractor. It's just been kind of a slow process. So I love it, but there's a lot of new things to maneuver. And one thing I'm sure most of you who are using disability aids and things to help out have realized that you kind of have to relearn everything. Like my husband, who is totally supportive, and he's the greatest, but he thinks that I can just like hop around and be back to where I was before. That's really not the case. It's like you have to relearn, okay, how am I going to transfer onto the toilet? And then get up and get my pants back on, and then transfer back to the wheelchair or start walking with the walker. And how am I going to get to the sink to brush my teeth and wash my hands and do everything that I need to do? And so I thought I was going to get up on that stair lift, hop into the shower, get my clothes, get to the bathroom. No. We have a lot of work ahead of us. So I'm still staying on the daybed in the downstairs. We have about 2 to 3 weeks of work to do up there to figure out how I'm going to maneuver in the bathroom, how I'm going to maneuver in the shower, how I'm going to get in and out of the bed. We also have to save some money. Not only are we sending a kid to college this year, which is crazy, but we have to save up some money because there's a lot of little devices that I need. For instance, the bathroom changed and they took off one of the rails that I use. So we have to figure out either a different wall to get the rail on, or we have to figure out, are we going to put something there because I pushed myself off to get safely back up, and then I have a tiny little like 2-inch step to get into the walk-in shower, so it doesn't wheel right in like some of them do. So we have to figure that out because right now I never really kind of fully recovered from that leg break. I've never gotten back to baseline. I mean, I'm functioning, but I'm not at the baseline where I was before the leg was broken. So we found a little stepping thing, and it's specifically for disability steps. So it's not only for the shower, but it does have like a protective thing so you don't slip. But it also might help if I can get my leg up on there to get onto the bed. So that's where we're going left. We have all these little things. Another thing that I struggle with is the day bed that I sleep in down here. It's obviously a twin bed and then looks like a sofa when you're not on it. So I can grab one side of it to help swing my body up. And then sometimes I wake up and half of my legs are off on the floor and it's a big ordeal to get them back up. I either have to call my husband and wake him up in the middle of the night or whatever. So I kind of wanted to find, like those little toddler beds. I'm either like a toddler or a geriatric, even though I'm middle-aged. But I had to find a railing, but I wanted one so I could keep my legs in so that because on the day bed I can like push myself up to sit up so I can watch TV or read or whatnot. But in our bed, it's like our king size bed with my husband on the side of me, there's nothing to hold on to like push myself up unless I'm holding on to him, and he's not always gonna be there. I mean, if he's working late or I get up in the middle of the night, I don't want to wake him up by grabbing and scaring the daylights out of him. So I need to get one of those, and it folds up and folds down. And so to kind of motivate myself, I also am in the redecorating mode because I figure, you know what, I have all these disability aids going on, but I'm also kind of redecorating. So I'm trying to get a little bit more creative by putting different pictures up. I want to get a new comforter and new pillow shams and everything to make the bedroom cheery. And that's kind of where I have to go left, because I really, in my mind, thought everything was going to go perfect, that I was just going to, bang it out just like I did before. Not the case at all. It's a total learning curve. Things go when you have to relearn silly things. They're not silly things, but they're necessities. But relearning how to put on your pants, relearning how to pull up your pants, and then if they fall down and you have to sit down and grab them back up again. What I've really found out actually that's been working really well for me is wearing the dresses, because then you just pull them up, and that doesn't apply to men, but it's much easier than having to deal with the panties and then the pants and then all of that. So we're in a transition period, and I really kind of went into this year thinking that everything was going to be really great. Like, I've been doing all my MS exercises. I had that MS specialist come that worked with me for 3 days, and I have all the supplies that came with that. And I'm like, yeah, everything's going to be great. And, and we're getting the stair lift, and we're getting the bathrooms. And then I landed up with 2 severe UTIs. So that put me back a few steps. So I have to get ahead on that. So that kind of shut me down for 2 weeks. The first one, I was still functioning. The second one was so bad, I was not functioning. I was almost scared that I was going to have to go to the hospital. But I was in good contact with my doctors, and they were testing my blood and my urine and everything. So, luckily I was being taken care of, but I was scared to death, thinking, oh my gosh, this is really going to put us back. So, against what I thought the whole year, January 2018 to December 2018, was going to be this great, oh yeah, I'm going to rock it this year. I'm rocking it. But it has not been easy. I've been going left all the way through, and there have been so many little things that we've had to change up. And I guess what we just have to do is stay calm. I don't know if any of you have been through any of this. I'm sure you all have. I love hearing your stories when you guys contact me, so that part's great, and we can all help each other by talking it out and doing things and saying, hey, this worked for me, and hey, this works for me. But boy, has it been a learning curve. Things that I don't know, things that I've had to learn from other people. I've been asking questions, posting things in some of the groups that I'm in to be like, hey, what do you guys do for this? Like, I don't know even what to do for this. And so really it's just a transition learning curve. And I guess if we surrender rather than fighting it all the time, and that's what I did. I fought and fought and fought, and I always blamed everything on MS. If I didn't have MS, I wouldn't be dealing with this. I hate MS. It's ruining my family. It's ruining my house. This is so crazy hard when somebody can do it like in 2 minutes and it takes me 25 minutes. And I just surrendered to it. And I know I talked about that in the past a little bit, but what I've really done is really surrendered to it. And instead of defining myself as MS this, MS that, MS this, MS that, no, not going to do that anymore. I am a person who is living with MS. And yes, our house looks like a disabled person lives here. there's bars, there's walkers, wheelchairs, canes, stair lift. I'm going to have to get a thing for my bed, all of this crazy stuff. But you know what? If it helps me, it helps me. And I'm not letting it define me. And, normally I would just go into the biggest pity party passion, freaking out, blaming everything in the world. And, I'm not doing that anymore. I didn't even flinch. Like, I went upstairs, I went through that bathroom with my husband, and I was like, okay, I'm not getting in the shower today. There's no way that's going to happen. I'm going to have to do my hair and a sponge bath in the sink like I've been doing. I'm, not ready to get into the bed without having that railing to push me up and keep my legs from falling out without having to wake him up. And so we just wrote down a list, and we wrote down, okay, this is what we have to do. This is the money that we have to save, because trust me, this disability thing, it is not cheap. I mean, you would think you would get more help than you do. And I just have to be grateful that at least, I can save up for some things and get things that I need. But boy, I haven't had any, unless it's been a direct family member, I haven't had any help with that. And that is a struggle in itself, because it's like, yeah, I want to get upstairs, but I need this before I can use it. Yeah, I want to do this, but I need this before I can do that. So that's been a little rough, but we'll get through it. And I'm changing my attitude. I want to be a good example for my children. I want a positive and loving home for my husband and my family that comes to visit me. And I want joy in my life, and I want to be joyful and grateful and thankful. And so hopefully everything that we're going through right now is transitional, and it will help me get stronger and more independent, so that I am not so dependent on the things that I was before. So that's kind of what we're working on. Basically, if things don't go right, go left, because that's the only thing you can do. That's the only thing I can do. I know. I know that I talked to my friends about it, and my family members, and the ones that are still an active part of my healing journey and my wellness are very supportive, and they're very helpful, and they have great ideas of things that I never even thought of. And here's an example. Like, sometimes I have a hard time transferring into my chair. If I'm not walking on the walker and sitting into the recliner, I have to transfer from the wheelchair. And sometimes then I get into the recliner and I'm like, oh no, I'm falling. And I start freaking out. And my mom was here one day, and she's like, oh, just lean the back a little bit, and then you can scoot your tush back, and then you can sit up real easy. And I'm like, really? I've been doing this for 1.5 years, and I never even thought of that. So sometimes when you get other people's ideas, professionals or people that have been through it, or just anybody who sees what you're going through, it's actually turns out to be a really positive impact. And even with the stair lift and the shower and all of that, I've just been talking to people that have been through the same similar scenarios, and they have great ideas. And so that's what we're doing. I'm looking forward to kind of the redecorating. I figure, hey, if it's going to look like it has to look, it might as well be cute. So we got some cute frames, and I'm saving up to get a real cute, colorful bedspread to make things cheery in there. And I bought some new dresses, and they were on sale for $8, because that really helps me with the restroom situation, getting my pants up, which I know is a lot of TMI for some people, but for me, it's an issue. And I'm hoping if I can help somebody with one issue, no matter what it is, I hope it helps. And the other thing is that I learned is that sometimes you can buy things cheaper at the disability stores versus through your insurance versus Amazon. Sometimes they have used things. You want to make sure it's good quality. Or sometimes people have just had, an injury and they don't need it for their lifetime like we do. Like they only needed their walker for 4 weeks when their knee was healing, whereas we need it for a lifetime. Or maybe we don't need it. Maybe we'll get to a point where we can use the trekking poles, or we can use the cane, or get a guide dog, or whatever it is. But just try and keep a really positive attitude. Try and stay brave. Try and keep joy in your life. I noticed that since I've been more grateful and joyful about the things that I have, and I'm thanking God every day that I have the opportunity to have these items to help me. I noticed that I have inner peace, and I noticed that everybody around me, friends, family, just even strangers that I deal with, are just calmer. So I don't know if that's inner peace in my own heart or if they were feeding off of my stress. And I noticed that when I keep stronger and peaceful, like I would go through a scenario where we're like, oh my gosh, I'm falling. Well, really I wasn't, and if I just like take a deep breath and be like, oh no, you're really not falling. Just take a deep breath, take a pause. You're not falling. You can do it. That kind of helps. So there's lots of little tricks and crannies that we can use, and hopefully that will help somebody out there. I know it's helped me. I know I've learned a lot just by doing a lot of research. I feel like knowledge is power. So some of the research on the internet that you get is incorrect. You want to make sure you get it from a viable source. The MS societies and centers and stuff, or your neurologists are always, and the therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, speech therapists, they always have viable information. And a lot of them, sometimes if you're just, and the people that work at the disability stores, sometimes if you're just willing to call them and ask them and say, hey, I have this issue with getting, this 2-inch step into my shower, what are your suggestions? Like they do that for a living. So they're like, oh, just grab this little step and you can wheel yourself right up to it, and then you can transfer right into it. And boy, that's powerful knowledge that I didn't know, and I wouldn't have known because I've never been through it before. And if I would have tried it on my own without knowing that, I would have panicked or fell, or something that I didn't want to do. So I'm hoping that some of this information helps somebody. I know that if you call the MS societies or your neurologist, they do have resources for disability, places where you can get the needs that you need taken care of, whether it be a walking device or a handrail or a stair lift. Some people need a lot of modifications in their home. We personally found out for us it was easier to build up than build out, because we were either going to build a master bedroom on the main floor or try and move. But in Colorado, it's just absolutely crazy with the cost of living. So there's no way we could have moved. Building out would have cost too much money, so we weren't able to do that. And so what we found was building up. Yes, the stair lift is expensive, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper than any of the other things that were given to us as options. So luckily we could do that. And there's a lot of different places to get it from. So I got mine from a company that was recommended to me by a friend who's paralyzed, and she used them. And I also know that some of the MS societies recommend them because they're in a bunch of different states. But we did find some other places that we got bids on, and some people have those stair lifts, and then they don't need them anymore because maybe they had a broken hip or whatever, and they're healed. And so they took them down and they sold them used. And we chose not to get a used one just because I'm probably going to have it for the duration. Even if I can walk up the stairs one day, there's going to be days where I can't. And so if you need to, if you have financial, try and look into a used one. I mean, they're just as good. The only reason we got the new one was because the warranty was a little better and we knew I was going to be using it a lot. So there's lots of options out there. I want you guys to use your resources. Know that you can always contact me on MS Girl, You Know the One, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or msgirlyouknowthe1@gmail.com, and I can try and help with the resources. I know there's a lot of MS societies that can help with that, and I know that Erica's groups that she has on Facebook can also help with that. So until next time, I hope that you all feel well, I hope you stay well, and I want you to all be brave. Thank you and have a great month. Bye.